Hey guys, No Gas Nico here. Gonna be installing this dash cam. It's a Thinkware dash cam. It is a front and rear facing dash cam. You can see here it's got two cameras. Also, I'm going to add this external GPS receiver to the system. That way it will also track the speed. I don't know if you want to do that to maybe say you weren't speeding to get out of a speeding ticket, or if you want to track your teenager's driving speed. This would be a good accessory to have to see how fast they really were going. We know sometimes teenagers. So anyway, you do need a few accessories to install this. We have this add a circuit fuse tap. What this does is it allows you to wire this right into your fuse. You don't have to have this. I bought the hardwired version. You can get one that just plugs into the power socket, what us old folks say, the cigarette plug later. They don't have that anymore, they're power sockets. But anyway, you can do it that way and make an easy installation. I choose to hardwire it because this will allow me to record while the vehicle's parked. And if any of you saw my other video where somebody actually backed into my car and dented it, I was able to send that video to the insurance company and to the police, and I was able to get my deductible waived because I was not at fault. So again, it could be better. That one deductible alone paid for all of this. So what the fuse tap is, make sure you get the right size. Now I have the mini fuses in my car. You have the fuse tap here. And if you notice on this back, it has two, I'll put a picture up here because it's a little better to see. It has two fuses. Now the first fuse is going to be the fuse for the vehicle. And the second fuse, the one that's in line with the wire, is going to be the fuse for whatever you connect to this. Now these do have two fuses. Now what do I need two for? Well, we're going to have one connected to power, main power, that turns on with your ignition. So this is going to be turned on to what we call accessory power. And then we're going to install the second one to constant power. That way the unit will have power and be able to record even when the vehicle is off. So that's your first accessory that we're going to add. Now, actually that's the last of the accessory. What you need is tools. You need a good test light. So, and this has a little clamp. Looks like my clamp's bent. I'll fix that before we get started. It's an older fuse tester of mine. But you're going to want to see which fuses have power with the car off, which fuses have power when the car's on and not when it's off. So I'll be demonstrating that. Wire cutters, crimping tool. This happens to be for home electrical, but it does have cutters and crimpers, so I'm going to be using this. And not a bad idea to have yourself a couple screwdrivers. This is one of those 7-in-1, has flathead Phillips, different sizes. I can switch it around. So I like having these because I don't have to keep running back and forth and switching out devices. So, all right, show you what's in the box real quick. I'm going to go ahead and break the seal. I do recommend that you upgrade the SD camera that comes with the system. I had an SD card here that I'm going to be putting right here. They're small, so make sure you don't lose them. This little micro SD card, that's what the units take. So this is our dash cam. It's got a little protective covering over the lens here. We're going to go ahead and remove that. That way. Next layer, have our instruction booklet. Now it does have the micro SD card that comes with it. The only problem is it is a 32 gig. Now if you look at the instructions, this thing will take up to 128 gig. So I went ahead and purchased 128 gig, a little slot on the bottom. I'm just going to go ahead and install that right now. Push the SD card in there, clicks into place. That way I'm not gonna lose it with all this other stuff. Here is GPS, and I bought a GPS. I didn't realize this kit came with a GPS sensor. So I don't know if I can return this because I bought it a while ago. I might be putting this up for sale. And it does have a adhesive mount for the unit itself. It clips onto here, mounts to your windshield. It does have the hard wiring kit, rear camera. Same thing, the rear camera has a protective film. Make sure you take that off because you'll notice a big difference in quality. Now this is a 1080p resolution camera, so you get really good images out of it. And this is a communication cable for plugging into the rear camera and running the cable all the way up front and plugging it into the side here on this camera. So that's to run both. And this also comes with a cigarette plug lighter in case you wanted to run it in a car with just not wire it hard. Just know that if you're going to do that, and it does have some extra adhesive, and it's got these little adhesive wire clips. So that's everything that's in the box. Now just know if you're going to use a cigarette plug lighter, you're not going to be able to record while it's parked. It will not record because it will not have power and the unit will be down. It also has a setting, and I'll go through the settings, to where you can shut off the recording of the dash cam when the battery drops down to a certain level, and you can define that level. That way you don't have the car sitting for multiple days with the camera running and kill your battery and you can't start your car. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. We'll go out and start doing the installation. All right, just backed the car into a little shady area. Hopefully it's better for filming. I'm gonna try to set up camera inside the car so you can see what I'm doing as far as routing wires. And basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have back there, the top of the window, I'm gonna put the camera and put the wire through to where it's hidden. And then I'm also gonna put one up here behind the rear view mirror. That way it's not in your line of sight and blocking your line of sight when you're driving and causing a distraction. So that's the goal. And I'm in a 2017 Nissan Leaf. That's what I'm going to install it on. But you can install this on any car. It can be a gasoline powered car, a gas electric hybrid, or a battery electric vehicle. Doesn't matter. The installation is exactly the same no matter what type of car you install it in. And I do recommend you get one of these because I've already had to use one. I got them in my two other vehicles, my primary car, my daughter's primary car, and now this is my wife's primary car. We're going to be installing it on today. All right, here we go. All right, so the first thing you want to do is you want to take your Thinkware camera and you're going to want to mount it right behind the rearview mirror. That way it's not obstructing any view. So what you want to do is you want to hold this up here, kind of look and see, move it up until it's as behind and center. You want this camera, you want this part right here to be center line with this post right here as much as possible. Obviously you don't want to have it to where if I'm right on that post and to get underneath it, I don't want it, oops, hope that still works. You don't want it in your view, but you don't want that post to block the view either. And actually, I think this is going to work out real well right here in this position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clean that part of the window. I got to go back in the house and get some cleaner. I'm going to clean that part of the window, and then I'm going to come back, stick the adhesive on, and we should be good to go. For all my Greek friends, put some Windex on it. Okay. Sorry, my big fat Greek writing reference. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and clean just that spot. I can clean the whole window later, but I'll move this mirror out of my way so you can... Not that dirty anyway. There's nothing on the rag, but we want to make sure it doesn't have anything that's going to interfere with the adhesive. You want this on there permanently, right? So again, I'm gonna kind of eyeball it, put the me adjust the mirror again. That looks good. I'm gonna eyeball about where I want it. Up there, so. Go ahead and peel the little 3M adhesive back off of here and turn it. Even though it's a beautiful day in Michigan, it's still 37 degrees outside, so it's warm. Those of you in the South probably argue with me saying that it's warm, but for Michigan, man, this is almost shorts weather. It's great. Sun shining, which is another rarity in Michigan. And I really hate peeling the backing off of these things. They make it almost impossible. I think I may got an edge started here. Really good strong adhesive, but man, get that covering removed. It's a pain in the butt. Let's try this corner. Sometimes I've gotten a pair of scissors and try to get an edge. And, oh, well, I got scissors right here. Haha! Just when I was talking about scissors. You try to get the edge up with scissors, and sometimes pinch and hold and pull. Man, this is not fun. Doesn't help that this old man's not wearing his glasses either, so if you see me doing this, it's just because I'm old. There it goes. Haha. Finally. Alright, so now I have to be careful because I want this one and done. I don't want to stick it and try to remove it and stick it again. So I want to make sure I'm right where I want it to be. Line it up. Make sure the camera is below that center post. And give a good firm push and hold it for about 10 seconds because you want that adhesive on there. Another 5, 1,002. All right. Now that feels good. Now I'm not gonna, well, I guess I could tighten this, but there we go. That's it's got a little thumb screw tightening thing to where you can set the angle and then tighten it. So I got that all set. Next, we're going to want to start running the power wire. I'm going to have to put the power wire up along the top here, down through. I'm going to remove this trim or pull it back, run the wires down, go through here. And on this car, the fuse box is like on the door jamb here on the side. So where the door closes, right here is the cover, and I'll show you that. So we're gonna get out, start getting the wires fed through, and then when it gets to this point, open up the door, and then we're gonna start testing fuses. All right, only thing I did was take the little cable tie off of this. So this is your main power for the unit. Now it has 3 wires here on the end that you're gonna have to connect to your fuse box. Now you have red wire, which you read that little sticker there, it says constant. So this is going to be connected to a power source that always has power on even when the car is off. It could be for radio memory, it could be for a variety of things. There's fuses that have power on all the time. So you're going to want to connect this to one of those. And then we have what this is called an accessory power. So basically this is going to connect to a fuse that has power on only when the car is either in accessory mode or turn on ready to run. So either when the engine's running, when your electric vehicle, you're in ready to run mode, that's what this is for. That way when you turn it off, it can go into parking mode and record when you're parking.
And then you're going to have this. You're just going to have to find a good ground and connect this to a good ground. So I'm going to start connecting this. I'm going to plug the other end. It has the plug-in, goes on the bottom of the dash cam. There is a, or I'm sorry, it's on the top. Move this around right here on top. We'll plug it in right there. Hopefully you can see back there, it's on the top of the dash cam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it around so the wire kind of lines up with this black. And then I'm going to start stuffing into my headliner. You don't have to get too fancy here because gravity will hold it in. And then now I got to remove this trim piece. Get this out of the way. So I'm going to pull this here. So I'm going to pull this part here off of this trim, or the weather stripping. Pull this down, get that out of the way, and what I'm going to do is try to gently remove this. I don't want to go too far because I'm going to end up downing here. Alright, hopefully that's a little better. And I'm going to try to get below this panel here and fish. This is where my fuses are right here, so I'm going to grab that other screwdriver and try to get these wires into there, tucked all nice and neatly behind here so you don't see any cabling. That's the best thing about these installations, is if you can do it to where you can't really see anything, the greatest. Now the wind's picking up, my camera's doing this. Great day for shooting. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pop this off. Fuses are all back in there, so we'll get to that in a minute. So, and I'm going to want to pop this cover off right here so I can get to the spot where I can fish the wires through. So let me take this off. So, camera up over. I'm going to go behind this guy. I'm going to remove it the rest of the way. I pulled the cover off of here so I can fish the wires down so I can get the wires back in through here to my fuses. Hardest part is going to be fishing them from here to there.
Obviously here you want to take your time and try not to break any of these trim pieces and just fish the wire through. That way you can get it in without breaking anything and get it all the way into the position you want, and then go ahead and put everything back. Double check your work, readjust if need be, but just take your time and make sure it's done right and it looks professional. I actually had to go back and pull some more wire back through because I had it at an angle. So just take your time, redo it if you have to, get it right. Alright, so you can do this with a few different things. I'm using a stiff piece of copper wire that I can bend and some electrical tape. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this wire, feed it up through here, try to get it out of here, and then I'm going to tape this wire to it, pull it through. You can use a fish tape, that'll work as well, but
I couldn't find my fish tape. I'm running around the house blaming everybody for losing it except for myself. So here we go. Alright, so I'm going to kind of give this a little bend upward like this. I'm going to feed it back behind this metal plate. I'll take a picture of that so you can see. Back behind this metal plate. And I'm just going to keep trying to maneuver this wire till I can get it all the way up into this area here. See, I bent the end. Oh, I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. Oh, I lost it. Gotcha. There we go. Now I have it here and I have it here. Ooh, almost pulled it through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this end, I'm going to fold it over, make like a little U. I'm going to put this in here like this, and then I'm going to tape this and tape this really good to make sure that it doesn't pull out. Alright, got the door open so it keeps doing a little beepy beep thing. Then I take this portion here, loop up top, and I'm going to tape that as well. So you might be asking, well, why are you taping that when you're just going to be pulling through? Well, if it gets stuck, sometimes you have to pull back. So if you're going back and forth, you don't want this to pull back through and unhook. So that's pretty good. And one thing I'm going to do here, I don't want those two thick pieces going through together. So I'm going to flip this one up and just give it one little tape. That way they're not going through in the same plane. We're just going to tape that right there. And this one should be good just hanging loose. So now let's pull her through, see what happens. Get rid of my phone mount real quick. There you have it, pulled through. Okay, so here are the fuses. What you want to do is, right now I'm looking for constant power. I'm going to get my clamp on the ground to where I'm actually going to have a ground. It doesn't have to be. I have a good ground, looks like right down there. So what you want to do is you want to test these. I got light there, I got light there. So I'm testing the end of the fuses. And you see that one I have lights. This 15 amp, got a light, got a light. Car's off right now. So light, light. All of these have power with the car off. This 15 amp, nothing here, nothing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn accessories on. Oh, hang on. Let me actually. There we go. I'll turn the whole car on. Now this 15 amp has power. This 15 amp has power. Turn the car off. Watch what happens when I turn the car off. Turn the car off. Uh-oh. This might take a minute. There it goes. I heard the click. There. Usually with a delay. So I'm going to put my accessory here. I'm going to use this 15 amp to put the main power here. So up top here there's a little fuse puller. I have my add a circuit. So I'm going to use this one for my 15 amp. See if I can get it to fit there. So what I want to do is I want to grab the 15 amp with my fuse puller. Now, see if I can check this one. This one doesn't have power. I'm going to come up one just because. Now, what you want to do, this first one here is for the car. The second one, oh, this is for the car. This is for your device that's coming out here. So the fuse I pulled, this 15 amp, I want to put it here. Okay, that's what it looks like with it in. Get the focus. That's what it looks like with it in. So I'm going to go ahead and replace that where I took it off from. Okay, so all you have to do, plug it in. Now before I do that, I'm going to add a 5 amp fuse or a 10 amp fuse here for my device. Probably only need 5 amp, but I'll double check the owner's manual. Put whatever is recommended in there for your fuse. Now I'm going to go ahead and stick this back into the original fuse holder slot, right like that. So that is for my accessory. That is going to be connected to this yellow wire from the GPS system. So before I get too carried away, I'm going to go ahead and connect that now. To be safe, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this with some electrical wire. Because I'm going to pull this back through to kind of conceal the wires. I don't want to end up pulling this out because this is a very thin wire, thin gauge wire. Alright, so now I'm going to repeat the process with one of these. Like right now the car is off. Now look at this 15. I have power. I have power. So I go in here, grab hold of that 15 amp fuse, pull it, repeat the same process. You always want to have your device lower breaker than what you have, whatever you're replacing in the car. That's why I chose the 15 amps. Now this one is going to have to go, I'm going to flip it over. Doesn't really matter what direction this goes in, but it will stick that wire behind there. Oops. Now if you look here, that wire has power. This one does not because the accessories are off. So I'm going to go ahead and take my power, connect it here, and we should be able to wrap this up, tidy it up, and I should have power to the GPS already. The ground wire, I have a screw right here. This looks like a really great place to put the ground wire. So I'll grab my screwdriver. I want to check that ground. You want to check that ground. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my ground clip. Make sure I'm touching metal. And then I'm going to go ahead and touch one of those constant fuses. I have light, so that is a good ground. So you want to double check your ground, otherwise if you don't have a good ground, it's not going to work right. Apologize for the neighbor's dog. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reach up top. The wire that's fed down below, I'm going to go ahead and start pulling it back. And just try to tuck these wires back there best we can. Don't forget to replace this guy, because you go to pull fuses again, you're going to be crying if you don't have this. Make sure that is back here. Like, whoops. Nope, that was correct. There it goes. And then for this area here, I'm going to go ahead and put my cover back. There it goes. Can't even tell I did anything. Alright, so what I do now is I got this extra cable here. That I'm just going to lay in this area here. It's not affecting anything. It's just laying on top, and the trim piece that goes over it, I'm going to go ahead and reinstall that. Perfect. And take some pictures of that so you can see the clean, how clean it is installed. Beautiful. I'm going to turn the car on and see if the dash cam says anything.
Continuous recording will now start.
There it is. So it is recording. And I will turn the car off. Always connect. All right. I'm going to open up this dash light. It says I'm connected. Now let me start my screen recorder real quick. Screen recorder. Start recording. 2, 1. No, I want to register this product. Sure, let's register it. Registration complete. That was nice. I didn't have to do much there. Just hit registration complete. Upgrade for safety complete. Okay, did an upgrade. Alright, so let's check the live view first. Alright. So align blue line with center of hood. Looks pretty close. Maybe we could turn it a little bit. And green line with front edge. I'm going to have to loosen it a little bit. A little delay there, so let me go ahead and I think that's good there, so let's go ahead and tighten her back down. There's the live view. Alright, so I'm going to go back. Dashcam settings. Memory card settings, format. Okay, that's fine. Camera settings. Record settings. Continuous mode, incident recording sensitivity. I want to have that medium. Super night vision, parking mode. See, it's parking mode disabled. So let's go ahead and go. We can do motion detection, time lapse, energy saving. Parking mode, let's go time lapse. Okay. Motion detection, so timer off. So here's the section you want to know. Timer off. I'm going to disable timer off, but I'm enabling battery protection. So I do not want my car to get below 12.0 volts. And I don't really care about the 24 volts. So winter time battery protection. I'm not going to have any of that. I don't need it. So we're going to leave it as is. So let's go ahead. There's no save button. I'm going to hit back. So it's saving. Okay. Road system savings. Settings, I mean. Forward, disable, low speed. I don't think I need to change anything there. System settings. So volume. If you don't like it talking to you, you can just select 0 and you won't hear any prompts. I'm going to turn it down to 1. Now, daylight savings, let's enable that. Speed, miles per hour, speed stamp enabled. That will put the speed that you're going at the bottom of your screen. So that would be a good thing to have for, again, if you're using this to monitor a teen driver. Beautiful thing. I'll go back, saving those. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the car off again. And let's see if the parking mode is enabled. Oh, I got to disconnect.
Wi-Fi disabled.
Okay, I had to turn the Wi-Fi off. There you go. It's now recording parking because it still has power. Still connected to a 12-volt power source. So it will record and it'll keep recording. And I have it on time lapse. So it's going to be recording 24/7 until the 12-volt battery gets down to 12.0 volts. Once it gets down to 12.0 volts, this will shut off. So unless you have a weak battery, it should record for quite a while. It's just not going to be pulling a whole lot of power. So I like it. I like it. And now let's get into installing the GPS and installing the rear camera. Okay, we have a GPS camera with this. It will record your speed. And this is it right here. It's just this round little thing. It's got the same adhesive on the back that I love to take this little red stuff and peel it off. And then it's just got a connector that basically plugs into the side of the GPS unit. So what we're gonna do is we're probably gonna mount this thing up here, run the cables down, and then plug the GPS unit in. So again, put some Windex on it. I'm gonna clean a spot way up top where this GPS unit, I'm going to stick it. For Greek, Windex the only one to use. And let the struggle begin. Telling you, that's the trick right there, people. The edge of a scissor. So again, I'm going to put this to where I can try to conceal the wires really well. Stick it. Hold it for 10 seconds. 1, 1,000, 2, 3, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000. Putting good pressure on it because I want that adhesive really to stick. So now I'm going to just take this for now and plug it into the GPS port. Beep beep. And I got Windex running down. That'll drive me nuts if I don't clean it off now. When I'm all done, I'm going to take it for a spin and show you guys the recording on this. It's actually not bad. So just waiting for that thing to say GPS recording. Or GPS enabled or whatever it says. My wife doesn't like it talking to her, so she had me turn the volume to 0. So she doesn't want to listen to it. It's still there. Everything still works. The only problem when you do that is it does not alert you that there was an event. When my 2020 got backed into, when it was parked, if you want to see the video, I'll play the video here. When it got backed into, since I had the volume turned off on this because my wife was driving the car and she doesn't like it talking to her, she says it's annoying, I wasn't alerted to an event. So I didn't notice that until the next day at work. I thought somebody at work hit my car. But then I was able to go through the videos and find that video of the guy hitting me. Long story short, I never heard if they ever did anything to the guy. But I was able to get my deductible waive and car fixed. Basically, it didn't cost me anything other than being without my car. And I did have a free rental, so not too bad. So it's not saying GPS enabled. We're going to test that when we take the car for a spin with the new GPS on it. So let's go ahead and continue on. I got the GPS connected. Those wires still look like poop. I don't like them. We're going to tidy them up with those little wire clips that also come with the system. And try to keep them to where the wires stay pretty much lined up with that black strip for the rear view mirror. That way they're really hidden. I like having things with a clean look. Now obviously you're going to have some cables showing there, but we'll try to minimize how it appears to other people inside and outside of the car. All right, let's get the rear camera connected. All right, here we go. So got my camera set up here to kind of get a little dual action here. Now just down so you can see the camera here. I have this port right here is for my video in. That's this guy here. I'm going to plug it into the GPS. And I got a whole lot of cable here. And I'm going to run this all the way to the back. One thing you got to be careful of, if you have that slack, you have to find a place to where you're going to keep the majority of the slack of the wire. Otherwise, you're going to get back to the back there and be like, where do I put all this? So, a little playing around. So, I'm going to go ahead and plug this into the camera. And then we're going to kind of see how we want the wire run here. And I'm going to start tucking this in the headliner, just like I did the power cable. I'm going to keep coming this way. I'm going to open up this door. Actually, you know what, let me turn the car off. That way everything's kind of quiet. I'm going to pull this trim piece down again. And I'm going to pull this back off. So I can get this cable in here. Run it down. And I want to run that all the way down. I'm going to move the camera to the outside so you can see how I'm doing this.
I apologize for the wind. Can't have just sun in Michigan. We're going to have wind as well. So what I'm after here, center up as high as I can so it doesn't obstruct my view again. So I'm going to clean a spot here above the rear defrost line. That way it does not, the rear defrost doesn't put any heat in here. I don't think it'll hurt it, but I do want to pay attention. The cable plugs in here. I'm going to be bringing the cable from this side of the car over. Reason being, I have this rubber boot that I'm going to want to string the cable through and bring it up in this way. That way it's nice and clean. I don't have this as a cable coming through here. So I want to feed it through this boot. So what I want to do is put this here, camera facing outward, right about center. So again, with the cable plug on this side, just kind of eyeballing center. There's a little screw on the bottom of my light fixture there that looks like it's about center of the fixture, so I'm going to kind of line the lens of the camera up there. And again, I'm going to use my 10 seconds. 1,000. Well, 10 to where that's nice and secure. I'm going to look at it. It is pointing up in the air, so that does rotate. So I'm going to rotate it, bring it down. That looks fairly good. I may or may not have that line in my, if I do, I'll have to take it off, put new adhesive tape on there and re-stick it down a little further, but I think that's going to be okay. So let's get running the wire. All right, so I have wire in here, and it's in here nice and good. I'm going to go ahead and put that back in along with the weather stripping that holds it up to this point. So I'm going to go ahead and continue tucking this behind the weather stripping right here. Don't mind this cable. This is for my, that's for my phone holder. That's tucked behind. I'm going to get to this point here, and I'm going to want to run this up.
Okay, at this point, you're just removing kick plates and trim, feeding the wire underneath, and trying to get it hidden. That way it's not being stepped on, it's not out in the open. It doesn't look like a amateur job. So just remove all the trim pieces, run the wire underneath, make it look good. Again, once it's all done, you shouldn't see a single wire. Of course, continuing on in the back seat, flip down the seat so I can get better room. You're dealing with a seat belt here. So again, you're just removing the trim and the weather stripping, running the wire up until you can get to a spot where you can feed it back by that hatch. This takes time. There's no way around it. Take your time removing those trim pieces off, those little plastic tabs. break very easy, so don't force anything. If everything seems like it doesn't coming out easily, slow down, try it again. Again, they break easily, and those panels are not cheap. So if you don't feel comfortable doing this, you can always pay for the installation, but I feel comfortable doing it, so I was able to get this done myself without breaking anything.
Okay. So eventually what I want to have happen is bring this up here and have it connected to the camera. So right now we have this boot that provides power to the light up here. It also runs, you know, stuff for the lock on the back. So all the electronics that go to this hatch run in this boot. So what I need to do is I need to remove the boot. It exposes all the wires. Okay. And then I want to feed this through and get it through this hole and through the boot. Not going to be the easiest job in the world, but this is how it's got to happen. There's a knot. Make sure there's no knot. Right now. Now what I'm going to do is kind of only pull what I think I need. The rest of the slack I'm just going to tuck behind this panel. And I'm not going to trim this wire. It's a video wire and it's got a micro USB cable, so you can't just cut it and make it shorter. Alright, so now I somehow got to fish this through. I'm going to try to get my other stiff wire, see if that'll work. Alright, so I'm going to try to use this as like a fish tape.
So if you ever try to fish wire through, you'll know it's not the easiest job. Take your time. Sometimes you have to redo it, but just take your time and make sure the job's done without breaking or poking any holes into anything.
There it is. Okay, I can connect. Seat this boot back to the body of the car. Now I need to there it goes. I didn't really want to take that much off, but that'll work. Now I need to try to fish this wire from here to here. Again, let's grab my stiff wire that I just stepped on in the mud. See if I can fish this. There it is. Now we tape it again. All right, she's through. Kind of a pain in the butt. I'm going to go ahead and connect camera. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is try to take the slack out of this boot. Connect the boot, reseat the boot back into the hatch lid. connect here. That's it. We're done. I'm gonna take some pictures so you can see how clean it looks.
There you go, installation. Check out the videos. Got my GPS camera, GPS enabled dash cam going, front and rear view cameras. I'm passing this Ram 1500. You can see in the front and rear cameras. So if anything happens while I'm driving, you can see the traffic lights, plain as day. Any question about who was in the right or wrong, it's a beautiful thing. That way, if somebody does pull out in front of you and they say, well, you had a red light, you had a green light, argue, you have video proof. And that video proof could be the difference between paying $1,000 deductible or paying no deductible. And for the cost of these, $200-300 to have one of these installed, as long as you install it yourself, it'll pay for itself in the first time you've ever had to use it. Maybe even get you out of a ticket, which your insurance rates could go up more than what these things cost. So I highly recommend them, and I also recommend hardwiring like I do. You can get it to where you just plug it in the power socket and it'll work just fine, but it'll only work while you're driving the car. As soon as you turn the car off, dash cam stops and will not record. I was able to provide proof to my insurance company while I was parked that somebody hit my car. Now that was a great thing because I do have the type of insurance that if it's not my fault, they waive the deductible. I have $1,000 deductible. Now if I didn't have this video, it's gonna be my word. They're gonna have to take me at my word. I forwarded the video to my insurance agent. No questions asked. I was actually a victim of a hit and run. So it's already paid for itself. I got 3 of these installed, one in my wife's car now, one in my car, one in my daughter's car. So I got about $700 in the dash cams. One instance I saved $1,000 deductible. So they've already paid for themselves. So I highly recommend getting them. I pray that you never have to use the footage like I did, and that you put them in, just have a peace of mind, and that's all you ever have. But it's nice knowing they're there when you need them. Alright, again, No Gas Nico. Check out my channel. I've got a few variety of things. I'm mostly electric vehicles, but I am going to dabble into solar. I do some home improvement stuff. I do have a Kubota, do some tractor outdoor things. So if you want to check out my channel, great. Subscribe if you like to see what I got coming up. And I do have some stuff in the pipes. Trying to get out of Michigan winter before I actually start progressing on some of my other projects, because right now it's too cold to do anything. Michigan's horrible in the winter. You can't do anything. Ground's frozen. The sun's out today. It's like the first time we've seen it in 13 years. Just kidding, but we hardly ever see the sun. Sunglasses I usually have to look for them because I usually don't need them. So again, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. No Gas Nico. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments below. Have you installed one of these? Let me know what you think. Do you plan on installing one? You got any questions for me? Shoot me a question. My email is at the beginning of the video. If you don't know what it is, it's also on my on my page. So go ahead and look me up. Send me an email. I do respond to all comments and all emails. So don't be afraid to reach out for me if you got any questions. All right. Thanks for watching, and God bless.